Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Kendall Sports Network's False Nine from a rainy, stormy state of Florida. How are we doing today, Mark?
I'm good, man. Staying dry. How about yourself?
Staying dry for now, but it seems like the entire state um, is is at some form, way, or shape getting soaked. Um, Today's episode will be a little bit kind of an abbreviated episode. Not really much on the fire right now. Um, but let's jump right into it.
Do
This
it.
Saturday, after a weekend off, which was torturous, um, Inter Miami comes back into action against the Philadelphia Union. Um, Sans, Euro, and Copa America players.
Yep.
Um, just quickly, who are the players that Miami is or will be missing during this window?
We're going to be missing three attacking players. Messi, Suarez, and Rojas are going to be the guys that do their Copa America duties. The one we get back the quickest is probably Matias Rojas if Paraguay don't make a miraculous run deep into the tournament and stuff. So that'll be good. And Uruguay and Argentina probably odds-on favorites, to win it with Brazil. So we can expect deep runs from Suarez and Messi, respectively, and then we'll just have to make do with what we have. And I'm comfortable with Campana and Taylor and those guys leading the break up top.
Okay, so are those three the only players missing in that window?
In this window coming up, yes.
Okay, is Philadelphia losing any players?
Philadelphia may lose their striker Julian Carranza, who I've been seeing on Twitter and X. Fabrizio Romano was tweeting about it that there is a deal that steps away from being done with Feyenoord, so moving him to Eredivisie. We don't know how close what that final step is, if it's a medical, if it's money, or if it's whatever it may be. He may play on Saturday, he may not. So they're on the cusp of losing him.
So this loss is not a international duty loss. This is just a transfer loss.
A transfer loss.
And
Yes.
well, the transfer window opened up in is it July or June?
It is July.
Okay, so and again for the new soccer fan, casual soccer fan, if the transfer window doesn't open until July, why would they lose a player now?
Maybe Feyenoord want to keep him out till July and stuff like that. Maybe he wants to make the move early and go already and get acclimated with maybe some preseason training that they're doing, get acclimated with the team, little preseason games and stuff like that. That's the only reason I would think that he would go now.
Okay, so it would be purely a player's choice move at that point.
I would think so. If he agrees and everything comes to terms and everything's agreed on, I would expect him, in the July transfer window to head over to Feyenoord if that deal completes itself.
Perfect. And for the casual soccer fan, I appreciate the explanation so that everybody understands how these transactions work. Here in the United States, we're used to, well, a player gets traded, okay, bye, and that's not exactly how it works in the soccer world.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only certain windows that you can move. Um, from.
Players in between. Yeah.
So with that news possibly happening,
Hmm.
and with the Inter Miami players out of this window, what do you what do you see from Inter Miami against the Philadelphia Union?
Well, Philadelphia has always been a team that's been at the top of the East, year in year out. Certainly have a good head coach in Jim Curtin. They've got MLS Defenders of the Year in their team with Jacob Glessens, a very good left back in Kai Wagner. They have Daniel Gazdag, Jack McGlynn, a U.S. international, and like I said, Julian Carranza, and they make up a very solid core of group of players that Philadelphia has relied on for the past couple seasons. And coming into the season, a lot of people expected them to be like a powerhouse in the East, and while the record doesn't show it, they may still have enough to make a run here come in these coming games. So it's definitely a tough task for Inter Miami going to Subaru Park and playing over there. But we've got a good core group of players that we can count on with Campana, Taylor, Busquets, Alba, Calendar, Aviles, to name a few, and it should be a good game.
Although we lose some of that attacking punch,
Hmm.
um, you mentioned Campana. You mentioned a player that turned down an uh, international work in
Yep,
Taylor,
Robbie Tate, yeah,
with the team opening in no, is it no? Is it's Scotland, correct?
he's Finnish.
Finland. I'm sorry. I got him confused with
Andrew Robertson,
no, Lewis
Lewis
Morgan.
Morgan, Lewis
Yes.
Morgan. He did get called up for Scotland.
Okay. Perfect. And that was a long time coming. But
Hmm.
you expect this team to kind of continue status quo. You have stalwarts like Busquets and like all the guys you mentioned are still here.
I expect us maybe not to be so heavily attack minded now coming in, where we can't really afford to go a goal down, 2 goals down, because we are missing Lionel Messi and Suarez. I expect us to try to hunker down defensively, play a little more simpler, um, maybe play out wide a little more than we're used to. Because when Messi and Suarez are in the team, it's a systematic thing that Tata likes to do, is to play through the middle and try to link the Busquets to the from the midfield to the attack and stuff like that. We may now see Inter Miami play a little wider at times, using Taylor to be a key operator in that in on on the left flank. And then we have service into the box, and then Campana can get on the end of one of those balls and put it away, and then we hunker down defensively and do our job.
Okay. So you expect basically like we said, status quo. What have you heard? The one of the biggest news was clearly Freire going down with an injury, basically ending his Inter
Yeah,
Miami uh,
tenure.
tenure. Correct.
Yeah,
Um, a lot has been said with possible replacements. Ryan Saylor has been mentioned. Christoph has been mentioned. Um, did Christoph did not receive a call up from Ukraine, correct?
he did not.
Okay, so Christoph, um,
Ian
but
Frey.
Ian Frey, but there's clearly the team needs a replacement in that
Yes.
position,
Hmm.
and we had heard a couple of rumors.
Hmm.
You mentioned, I believe, was it yesterday? You mentioned a new rumor. Tell us about that rumor.
That rumor is that there's links or there's talks, baby step talks, interest with Rafael Varane, former French international who retired from national team duty, Champions League winner, La Liga winner. He has all the World Cup winner, I believe. He has all the accolades to the name. Uh, Out of contract with moving on from Manchester United, looking for another start. And this may be it. If Chris Henderson can somehow figure out how to get Rafael Varane onto this team, I mean, build that guy a statue quickly.
The biggest question, I think, from fan standpoint, would be how much tread does he have left in on those tires?
Uh, he was in and out of the lineup this year with Man U because of injury, but I think a fresh start, a decently good stretch of no games and just recovery, health, and stuff like that could be good for him. Um, the league may not be as is not going to be as taxing as it is as the Prem, going up against those strong strikers, those wingers and stuff like that. The names that that are in the Prem. It could be good for him. He's in his 30s. I believe he's 31, 32, around there, maybe 33. Can't remember, but he can still play.
Do you see him, aside from clearly the talent
Mhm.
standpoint, do you see him adding um, is he that rock Inter Miami is looking for? Someone who can mentor our young, spicy
S-
other center back in Toto.
Certainly, I think with his record at Manchester, I mean at Real Madrid, being the younger center back next to Sergio Ramos, I think the tables turn here, and he's the mentor to Tomas Aviles, who has got great potential. Young, only 19 years old, and maybe and Varane can really explain to him or get the best out of him, and know when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, when go up for a tackle, when to cover spaces and stuff like that. So maybe just well rounding his game as well as being a mentor is something Varane can bring to the table.
Okay. I know that we ever since we stopped predicting, this team has been on a hell of a run.
Some, yeah, except the last 2 weeks, I didn't predict, and it was not the greatest, but we're still gonna go no predicting.
Okay, so with now we've talked about the upcoming game Saturday against the Philadelphia Union. We'll move
Mhm.
on to a very exciting time if you're a soccer fan. You have two tournaments basically being played parallel to each other
Mhm.
simultaneously.
Yep.
Um, if you love soccer and you're a man, your significant other is going to hate you. If you love soccer and you are a woman, your significant other, if they also like soccer, is going to love you because this next month or two is going to be soccer all day. I believe Friday we get a 3 p.m. game with the Euros.
Euros. Saturday, I think either
It's
Saturday or Sunday. One of them is you get it's
9 noon
from I
3.
think it's from
9 noon 3.
9 noon 3, then 6 9 p.m. would be Copa America when Copa
Correct.
America starts
It's all, yeah, all Euros all day, Copa America all night.
for 5 straight days.
Yes, yes,
You get that for 5 straight days.
and it is amazing. One of the teams that is going to be participating in Copa America, our very own U.S. men's national team.
Hmm.
Last we spoke, they had a game against Colombia pending, and
Hmm.
yesterday they had a game against Brazil. We'll start with Colombia and that atrociousness, that disaster, and we'll start with the topic on everyone's mind. We'll go with GGG. Give
Hmm.
us what is your stance on GGG and what you hope for in the future with this gentleman.
Um,
Keep keep it cordial and civil.
I will. I will.
No, no, I'm
My
saying this man to keep it cordial and civil.
um my stance on Greg Berhalter, who you are referring to, has been one of that I never wanted him to be the national team coach in the first place. When he first got hired, he did nothing. He had pull in the U.S. Soccer Federation. That's how he got it.
His
He really
brother's
did
on
it.
the board, I believe.
Yes. Um, he had done nothing in the MLS with Columbus Crew to merit a national team position. Um, I feel he was brought in because he was gonna milk the MLS talent that was, present in the talent pool at the time of his hiring, and bring him in to certain tournaments, i.e., that World Cup, a couple, what is it, 2022? Yes, the 2022 World Cup. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
when he brought in, those MLS guys and stuff like that. That's what they wanted him to do to show the world the MLS talent, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, he was just not a very good coach tactically. There are games, specifically this Colombia game, where like the players weren't up for it. And if you, I don't know who's, I mean, if the players don't perform, that's on the players, but it's also on the coach to, you got to get them up for a tune-up game for the Copa America, happening. this year, and then 2 years you have the World Cup that you're hosting. You got boat raced by Colombia. Um, and I didn't see any life from the team. I didn't see any tactical changes from this guy, aside from us once the sub of Haji Wright, but nothing. Like, we're not a we're not a play the ball wide and then whip it into a lone striker and Balogun. Like, we use our pace, yes, to get by defenders one on one. Then let those individual players use their individual talent to take on more defenders and create a shot for themselves. Stop trying to force the cross and force this and force that. So I didn't like when they brought him back at all. I was kind of upset, really upset, to be honest. You know, that you fire the guy and then he's gonna go to Club America. That deal falls through and they bring him back. I mean, you got to find someone else that merits the position and has the the quality to lead this. Our I'm gonna say it's our greatest talent pool that we've had in U.S. soccer.
Yeah, and I found the quotes in the presser after the game,
Hmm.
saying the players didn't respect the opponent, the
Hmm.
players didn't respect the game of soccer,
Hmm.
and that really irked me. That got me feeling some type of way because the players performing is one thing, but isn't it your job as a coach to make sure that the players respect the opponent and respect the game? Otherwise, they're on the bench. If
Hmm.
that's not happening, what are you there for?
Hmm.
Um, that that really got me. But you know, in terms of the game, boat
Hmm.
race 5-1.
Hmm.
Tactically, besides the players not being up for it, what did you see that really? I mean, it was systematic destruction.
I mean, Colombia just came in and did whatever they wanted. Honestly, I know Luis Diaz, didn't score, didn't do any, but he was on the ball a lot and he made a lot of key passes. Opened up the defense a bit. James Rodriguez did the same thing. So they just outclassed us. It's that simple.
Okay, the this game is over. The world is falling. The U.S. isn't going to make it out of the group. Wednesday comes along at Camping World Stadium in Orlando uh, versus Brazil. Everything I heard was Uruguay boat raced Mexico. Brazil beat Mexico 3-2.
3-2.
Um, and everything I heard was, oh my God, what is going to be another systematic destruction of this U.S. team against a quality opponent? Um, Going into a game, what did you see? What were you expecting?
I looking at at that front three that you know of Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Rafinha that Brazil started. I mean, how can not how couldn't you think that there were these guys going to try to run rampant on us and control us, and we're not going to be able to get out of our own half and stuff like that. But it was quite the opposite. Although, I mean, you were at the game, so you can explain more. But Brazil, they high press. They like to dominate possession. They strike quick. Um, we held our own for the most part in that first half. Um, I believe the goal was we gave up the ball in our own half, and Rodrigo scored it.
So what happened was Tim Ream
Hmm.
to clear a ball,
Hmm.
couldn't get it over. He got it over the first line, couldn't get it over the second line of Brazil. That allowed them to have numbers on in transition. Um, and I'll say this: you have Vinicius Jr. on one side, Rafinha on the other, and Rodrigo causing havoc in the middle. Joe Scally, props to him. He wasn't great, but he held his own against Vinicius. Had
Hmm.
a ton of trouble receiving and distributing. F minus in that
Hmm.
aspect.
Okay.
Chris Richards should have stayed home. Had a bad day at the office. Not to say he's not going to have a good tournament, just
Hmm.
was not the best game.
Hmm.
Um, the transition happened. Chris Richards got caught sleeping, and Nothing Matt Turner can do on the Rodrigo goal. Um, on the other side, Pulisic got taken down in the box. Um, they ran a great play to basically to take a hockey term since the Panthers are in the Stanley Cup uh, to screen Allison,
Hmm.
and Pulisic was able to score. Other than that, it was a lot of Brazil basically tried to cut across different lines and zones, and the communication in the back line was really, really, really tested. They dominated possession, and it was probe after probe after probe after probe. Matt Turner played a really strong game, something that had been lacking in the last couple of games. Matt Turner really
Hmm.
did look good this game.
Okay.
That those are just some of my observations.
I'll say this. While Brazil did dominate the possession and the ball for the most of the game, and they like to strike in transition, they respected our transition game just as much. I would
Yes,
see 10 guys behind the ball. Sometimes when they weren't getting numbers back, we would actually make the play, make the right pass to get into dangerous, chances. I think from the beginning of the game, Yunus Musa had a strike that was off the woodwork.
I thought it went in. I was on the
Was
other side. I was
he
sitting in
hit it?
the
He hit it off
outlet.
the crossbar, or did Alisson save it?
No, off the crossbar, off of Allison's back,
And
and
he saved.
it
He,
bounced and came out.
okay. So I mean, f- another chance was Pulisic got played in. Ball squared across the frame of goal, and he hit it with his left, where from Allison was coming from, and Allison stuck out his left hand and made the
That
save.
was
So it's not
that was in the second half.
that was second half.
Okay,
So.
that was right in front of where I was sitting.
Mhm.
Zero excuse for Pulisic not to score there, because the play happened in front of me. I
Mhm.
promise you, Pulisic kicked that ball in the one place Allison could get to. If he had shot anywhere else in goal, that's a goal. The one place Allison could put his hand is the one place he put the ball. And I'm surprised he kept it on the ground. Very surprised.
Okay.
Because
How
we
do
at
you?
that point we were it was one of our it was a transition,
Mhm.
was a great, to borrow another hockey term, a great rush. Pulisic played himself on and Allison. Everyone around me was saying what a phenomenal save it was. And as great a save as it was, I feel it was more blown by Pulisic than anything else.
So you felt he could have done better.
No, 1,000,000%. Is that is what separates, to me, that's what separates a killer from a non-killer. Um, that's what's missing from Pulisic, in my opinion. That slit your throat ruthlessly kind
Okay.
of play, and it's something that is you can't develop that. That's just in you or not. Um,
Okay.
but like I said, I thought we we played Berhalter ball, a lot of crosses to nobody at times.
Mhm.
Just didn't Brazil would have 4 or 5 guys back, cross it into nobody. Um, this team had zero verticality. I'm looking at the game and I'm seeing runs and don't play the run. Um, Frustrating at times, but what a magnificent atmosphere! Great atmosphere all the way around.
I will say, I think the best play of the game, other than the free kick, was in that second half when Brazil really pinned us in our own half, and we played around that press. And Tim Reed played a couple passes that were spectacular. And then Scally played it to the middle, and we were able to break the press. So that was really encouraging to see, knowing that teams will probably do that to us, knowing that maybe playing out of the bag is not the strong suit of this team. And we like to play to the keeper a lot. And Matt Turner's weakest part is playing with his feet and distribution.
Yes,
So if we can break that press without going back to him, that'd be great going forward. So that's my only takeaway from that second half, I would say. Other than maybe Pulisic putting that ball a little more to the corner, or maybe down to the right, but nonetheless, great save. And we end up with a 1-1 draw in the final tune-up against, an odds-on favorite with Argentina to win it.
Two things I noticed. One,
Mhm.
we say that a lot. Weakness, distribution with his playing with his feet and distribution. Sounds like calendar. But the second part was something I noticed. You said that Brazil respected us in transition.
Mhm.
I saw this Brazilian team do something they don't really do unless it's a final or a quarterfinal in the World Cup.
Defend.
Not only that, foul.
Numbers back. Oh, foul.
Foul. There were times where the US was out and Brazil said, I'm not catching up, pulling a shirt, pulling a guy down. Or I'm not catching up to be able to, take the ball away, shoulder, trip. I saw a lot of, I can't get there moments from Brazil.
Were you
I don't
surprised by that?
think anything, turn them into anything, but pleasantly surprised to see that kind of thing.
Is it that just, I guess, speaks to the speed that this team has up front?
Mhm.
Um, I want a quick question. Going into this Copa America tournament, we know the back line is going to be set. We can pencil in Tim Ream there because Cameron Carter Vickers hasn't started any of the tune-ups, so I believe Tim Ream is going to be the starter going into that first game. Who who is up top in the front three? Who is the three in the midfield?
It won't be this way, but if I'm the coach,
Mhm.
it's Eunice, Tyler, and Weston.
As a three in the midfield. Okay. Who is up top?
Gio, Pulisic, Balogun.
Reina as a wide player, or Reina as a 10, and then Pulley and Balogun as two strikers.
Reina, wherever he can get space to find. Gio Reyna's best ability is the ability to create.
Playmaker. He's a playmaker, yeah.
Correct. Wherever he can find space. In the
Okay.
middle as a nine, out wide. Your job is kind of like a point guard in the NBA. Go get the ball. Wherever it is, go get the
Okay.
ball. You float. That is, if I'm the coach, that's how I play.
So Timothy Weah comes off as a super sub
Correct.
with okay, yeah, okay.
hmm
Okay.
If that's me, that's how I'm playing.
And then you're playing Scally, Ream, Richards, Robinson, and obviously Matt Turner.
Yes. Um. Clearly, Dest would be my number one choice,
Mhm.
but with that ACL injury, I've seen enough from Scally to be comfortable defensively. Held his own against Vinicius, held his own against Diaz. My one fear is exactly what you just said. Being able to help break down a high press in reception and distributing. Now, I don't know because on TV you see it much, much better. I
Mhm.
don't know if it was Chris Richards just being, he had a bad day.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was Chris Richards just poor distribution or if Scally was doing something wrong, but 4 or 5 times in that game, Chris Richards and Joe Scally gave up just zero connection between the two. Richards, on more than one occasion, tried to pass to Scally straight out of bounds. No chance for him or for him to even get to a ball, for him to receive a pass. It was just straight out of bounds. And it was frustrating to see, especially against a team like Brazil.
Mhm. I just think that comes with playing together. This is truly the first test, and it's a big tournament that these two are going to be partnered on that same side with. We know Dust is usually the guy on that right side with Richards. Um, so it'll be a big confidence booster or I would should say this past game should be a big confidence booster for Scally in terms of defensively and going forward. I mean,
World class player.
our group is Uruguay, us,
Bolivia.
Bolivia, Panama, Bolivia. I mean, aside from Uruguay, you know,
Who's
there's
the
no
tournament
reason.
favorite at the moment?
I think they're the third favorite. It's Argentina, them, Uruguay, Colombia, us. I want to say. Um,
Hmm.
so Uruguay's best. I just don't know where they're gonna play him. Federico Valverde. If you're gonna play out wide, or you're gonna play as a center mid. Um,
I
and
think he should
Pelistri
pair wide with Betancourt in the middle.
with with Betancourt. Who's the other one that play? Facundo Torres plays in the middle.
Hmm.
Pelistri plays out wide, and then Darwin Nunez down the middle, most likely, is what. Or unless they start, I don't think they're gonna start Suarez.
No, he's just
Um,
super sub.
okay,
And
so
yeah, Pelestri likes to get out wide.
he's a wide player. That's what he plays. He's a right winger for Man U, so that's where he's gonna play. But that should give him that Brazil game should give Scally confidence going into this tournament. I don't see Bolivia posting that big of a threat. They're another South American rough and tough, foul when you have to team. And Panama, we know Panama from CONCACAF.
Something I did see. Brazil got CONCACAF'd in that second half. I forgot who was it. Somebody, one of our defenders got yellow carded. Went
Where it
to
should have been a
VAR.
red.
Well,
Oh,
it
Chris
went to
Richards.
VAR to be checked
Chris
for red.
Richards.
Was it Richards? So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so it went to VAR to be checked for red, and it came back not even a yellow. They just
yeah,
allowed everything, and the Brazilians were just. I mean, they went
yeah,
batshit crazy, not knowing. And in my head, I just said, "Welcome to Concacaf." Um,
yeah.
but before we get out of here, who wins the tournament, and what is your expectations for and both tournaments? Who wins both tournaments, and what is your expectations for the U.S. men's national team in Copa America?
My expectation is for them, honestly, they need to show that they're at least one of the best four teams in the Central and South American region. A semis would be ideal. It just depends on who they play, but everyone says it depends. No, there's got to be a point where we hold this team accountable that they got to get a victory.
Okay,
Um,
do they win the group?
no, I think Uruguay wins the group. Um, we come in second, um, and I just don't know who we would play at that point. But I want to see us at least. If the quarterfinals is a really 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 good game, we're up for it, and we lose, drastic, by a last minute goal or something like that. That is a heartbreak. It'd be devastating. But I want to see us at least try and reach the semifinals of this tournament. I think we can do it. Let's see what the road and how it unfolds.
All right, give me your Copa America winner and your Euro winner.
Copa America winner, I think, is Argentina. I think they're the best team in the region, in South America, in Central America. Best team in the world. They showed it at the World Cup. They've got Messi. They've got they have pretty much everyone. I think Brazil and Uruguay will give them, if they play one of those in the finals, they will give them or in the semis they will give them a tough, 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 tough matchup. But I just think Argentina takes it.
Okay, and Euro?
Euro. I know the favorite everyone's saying is England. England this, England that. It's all that stuff.
Okay,
On paper, they have the most talented team, I believe. Them and England have
in the real world, England.
Them and France have real, real talented teams. For me, a dark horse, man. If somehow the Netherlands can, do something, I would love that. Um, it's just
Give me a name. Who wins it?
I'm not saying it. I'm not England. So don't. You're not going to get me to say that team.
Is it no? No. Listen, England is going to figure out a way to mess it up.
Gareth Southgate's going to figure out how to mess that up. Who's going to win the Euros? France lifts up the trophy.
Don't quote me. I think Italy does it.
So random.
I know. I
Italy's like in a transition stage. Do you think they go back to back?
no. I just wanted to pick something different other than France.
But they just won it,
I know.
and so they're not going to win it again.
I know. That's why I picked Italy.
So you couldn't pick Croatia, Portugal, any of those teams?
Well, I'm not rooting for Ronaldo. I think Croatia's too old. Um,
Poland,
but who
Scotland,
plays Poland?
Robert
Denmark. I
Lewandowski,
want Ericsson to die again. Um,
Robert Lewandowski. Pick Netherlands, Van Dijk, Nathan Ake.
I
They
mean,
got they got
yeah,
some
well,
names.
okay, but I still have that sour taste in my mouth from the World Cup. So Spain, there you go. How about that one?
Oh Jesus. Spain has got as many attackers as me and you have on Inter Miami.
Well, I mean, Germany's not really gonna.
Hey,
Germany,
Germany may surprise some people. We don't. That's my dark horse. I don't know why. Something tells me Tony Cruz. Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala in the midfield with Nicholas Fulkrug up
who's
top.
their killer?
Huh?
Who's their
Who's
killer?
your Fulkrug?
No, they don't have one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who's Spain's killer?
Again, they don't have one
So why'd you pick them?
because I wasn't gonna pick anybody else.
Pick someone else. Pick a random team. Pick Serbia.
Greece.
Oh, Greece. All right. Did they qualify? I don't even know if they're even qualified.
I don't know, but I remember that magical run they had where they won it in was it
I don't
90?
remember. I don't remember the year that they won it. Hungary? You don't like Hungary? Is Hungary even in it?
I just
I don't
think
know.
okay.
I don't know. This is what happens when we don't have Inter Miami to talk about. We just get
That's
stupid.
true. That's true. But yeah, that's. I mean, put it this way: anybody but France. That is my pick.
Wow. Okay.
Anybody
Anybody
but
but
France.
France. Why? You just hate French people?
No, I mean, I'm just tired of them.
They
Like, get
didn't
off
win anything. They haven't won anything. They won the World Cup 8 years
in
ago.
'98. They won it in '98, and what was it?
2018. The World Cup? Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
2018.
Okay. Get off
You
my
think that
lawn.
that's it? They won two things and that's it?
Yeah. Get off my lawn. I'm
No.
tired.
Here's a good question. How do you think Mexico does? Be honest. How do you want them to do, and how do you think they're gonna do?
I want them to go 3-0, and if they go 3-0, we'll dartboard of doom something.
Oh boy.
We'll pick a few things to do, and I'll throw a dart, and wherever it lands is what I'll do.
Sounds good.
But I think they get out of the group either first or second, and they're one and done.
Okay.
I just don't think the group is strong enough to deny. As bad as they are, I don't think the group is strong
Who
enough to
what
deny.
who's in their group?
I don't know, but
Is that the Venezuela group?
possibly. I remember looking at the groups and I was like, as much as I wanted them to go 3-0, that I don't think that it was going to be denied. Let me see if I can find Copa America table. Yeah, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica.
Ecuador,
Me,
Venezuela,
me and you can
Jamaica.
get out of that group.
Hey, Vino Tinto. Maybe they can do something. Ecuador. Maybe they can do something. All those teams are poised to beat Mexico.
Yeah, but you know Mexico. They somehow
I hope
figure
they
out
lose every game.
buying somehow they'll call somebody a puto and rattle somebody, and
Yeah.
so that's why I think they get out of the group, but I think they're one and done.
All right. You ready to get on out of here and watch
Yeah,
the Panthers?
that's
Game
exactly what
three
we're going to do. Next week we will have a game to recap
to,
and a
di-
game
to yeah
so
digest the game.
and all the soccer to talk about. So
Before you guys do anything, quickly, listen, I was on Scotty Gray's daily podcast. You guys can check it out on Spotify. It is called the Heartbeat Daily, only on Spotify and podcast apps and stuff like that. It's called the Heartbeat Daily. It'll be the latest episode that was uploaded. Talks about Inter Miami's defensive struggles and the root of that problem the last two games and where it comes from. And it's not all about the defense and all about new center backs and all that stuff that, X and Twitter like to talk about. So I dive a little bit into that, and
That's
it's
easy.
good. And hopefully we can have Scotty back on the show at some time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely check that out. Mark is doing big things. Thanks for Scotty Gray for inviting him. Thanks for Scotty Gray for coming on to the show with us. Love working with him and everything he does. Remember to watch his um, pregame show every Inter Miami game, hour before game time. Pregame with him. Um, Mondays we have the Dolphin Chronicles, and Fridays we are going to try to get better. At This Week in Miami, we've had some logistical problems with being able to get together, but soon enough we'll get those sorted out. Tune in to us next week, 7:30 Thursday. Mark, where can they find you?
Right there.
On X. Follow us on X. Every time we do the show, you can see us scrolling at the bottom on the ticker. But on behalf of Kendall Sports Network, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Thursday. Later.